everyone. You are all warmly welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Miss Sarah Amadou, a student of University of Education, Winneba, from History Department. Today, we are coming to discuss a topic titled Patriarchy in Africa and its historical roots and contemporary manifestations. So first of all, we will look at the meaning of patriarchy and historical roots of patriarchy in African societies, contemporary manifestations of patriarchy. So one may ask, what's the meaning of patriarchy? Patriarchy simply refers to a male dominance in the society. So, full meaning of patriarchy. Patriarchy is a social system in which men hold primary power, dominating in roles of politics, leadership, moral authorities, social privilege, and control of properties. It often manifests through norms, values, and structures that reinforce male dominance and female subordination. In Africa, the historical roots of contemporary manifestation of patriarchy are deeply interviewed with culture, economic, and social dynamics. Let's look at the historical roots of patriarchy in African society. So under it, we will look at the pre-colonial structures, colonial era, religious and cultural influence. So let's firstly look at the pre-colonial structures. Many African societies operate under a diverse system where gender roles were often fluid, while some cultures, like the Akan, were matrilineal, emphasizing women's role in lineage inheritance. Most society had patriarchal elements rooted in the agricultural practice. The division of labor, where men often engage in hunting and warfare, and women in agriculture and child-rearing, led the groundwork for male authority. Men became the primary decision-making, and women's contributions were often undervalued. Colonial era. Colonialism significantly altered gender dynamics. European powers imposed their legal and social system, often favoring patriarchal structures that marginalize women. Colonial administration promotes male education and economic participation, while women were often relegated to domestic spheres. These were compounded by land policies that favored male ownership, undermining women already limited access to resources. Religious and cultural influence. Traditional belief often includes spiritual rules for both genders, but colonial and missionaries' influence introduced new patriarchal interpretations. For instance, Christianity and Islam brought doctrines that frequently reinforce male leadership in both spiritual and familial settings. Practices such as polygamy were accepted in many cultures, further enhancing male dominance and complicating women's social standings. So let's continue with contemporary manifestation of patriarchy. So under it, we will look at the economic inequality, political underrepresentation, education disparities, and gender-based violence. So let's start with the economic inequality. Women represent a significant portion of the agricultural workforce, yet they often lack access to land ownership, credits, and resources due to patriarchal norms. This economic marginalization perpetuates dependency and limits women's empowerment. This informal economy, whilst many women work, it's often underregulated and undervalued, leaving them vulnerable to exploitations. Political and women's representation in political spaces remain disproportionately low. While some African nations have made straight through quotas and affirmative actions, culture, attitude, and frequently hinder women's participation in leadership. Traditional leadership structures often exclude women, perpetuating males' dominance in community decision making. Education disparities. Access to education for girls continue to be a significant issue. Cultural norms often favor boys' education, leading to higher dropout rates among girls due to early marriage or domestic responsibilities. Educational curricula may reinforce gender stereotypes, limiting girls' aspirations and perpetuating the cycle of inequality. Gender-based violence. Patriarchy contributed to widespread gender-based violence, including domestic violence, sexual assaults, and harmful practices like female genital mutilation and child marriage. Legal systems often fail to provide adequate protection for women, and cultural attitude may blame victims, further enhancing patriarchal norms. Cultural narratives and media representation. Media often portrays women in stereotypical roles, reinforce patriarchal attitude. This includes the depiction of women as caregivers or objects rather than as active participation in society. However, there is a growing movement within media and acts of challenge these narratives, promoting positive representation of women and advocating for gender equality. Conclusion. Patriarchy in African society is complex, with deep historical roots and pervasive contemporary manifestations. Understanding it is essential for addressing gender inequality effectively. Efforts to dismantle patriarchal structures must be multifaceted, involving legal reforms, educational initiatives, and cultural shifts. Empowering women requires challenging existing norms and fostering inclusive societies where all genders can thrive. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you all.